breathtaking hills and mountains and lowland in between. Cool breeze of fresh air, blue sea, and summer grass green. Beautiful birds chirping, a jaw-dropping scenery. Cape Engano Lighthouse, its centuries-old and fascinating history. Faro de Cabo Engano. Cape Engano Lighthouse, also known as Faro de Cabo Engano, a historic lighthouse located at Palawi Island in the town of Santa Ana, the province of Cagayan, Philippines. This historic lighthouse, located on the summit of a hill in Cape Engano, is one of the great remnants of Spanish architecture. It lights the approach from the Pacific to the extreme northeast point of Luzon, and the channel between the Babuyanes Island and the mainland. The island in Spanish language means two brothers. These rocky islets lie off Cape Engano, and a glimpse of the said island should never be missed once at the lighthouse. Surrounding the islands are the picture-perfect terrains and dramatic rock formation and cliffs that would definitely good subject for photography. The name of the lighthouse was given by Spaniard seafarers when they first set foot on the cape and were so stunned by its natural beauty that they named it Engano. The lighthouse. It was initially designed by engineer Rph and was continued by Guillermo Brockman, who constructed the complex using locally sourced materials. The complex of the lighthouse follows the standard arrangement of masonry towers, while the octagonal tower stands at a height of 11 meters and was topped by a copper lantern. It was 1887 that engineer Rph was commissioned with the Spanish colonial government to design various lighthouses in the Philippine Islands, particularly in Luzon. Cape Engano Lighthouse is among the four he designed. It took 4 years from 1888 to 1892 to complete the whole structure, a 47-foot octagonal stone tower and the keeper's house. Then in 1893, the lighthouse became fully operational and began shedding light to the ships passing by the Babuyan Channel. There is also a pavilion that is situated to the lighthouse rear side, which is also made of the same local materials, but today it's left in ruin. Only the storehouse, the kitchen, and the service building remain intact. Maybe it's missing its original lighting mechanism and lantern. Faro de Cabo Engano is still a must-visit site. The Hamorabons. The Cape Engano Lighthouse was for generations the home of the Hamorabons. They also worked as lighthouse keepers, notably Gregorio Hamorabon, the longest servicing keeper. The complex used to shelter 7 crew members tasked to maintain the lighthouse. At that time, according to Teresa Hamorabon, the late wife of Gregorio Hamorabon, the lighthouse was the only place where residents enjoyed electricity. Teresa Hamorabon described how well the government took care of the lighthouse keepers in this station. Their rations of rice, beans, noodles, cooking oil, and kerosene arrived every month and was shared equally among the workers regardless of rank. The Battle of Cape Engano. The Battle of Cape Engano, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, October 25, 1944. About 200 miles to the east from the Cape Engano lighthouse, a fight happened known as the Battle of Cape Engano. One of the three operations that made up the battle for Leyte Gulf is said to have been the world's largest naval battle during World War II. The Battle of Cape Engano was the last stage of the largest naval battle, and it was between the Third Fleet of the Imperial Japanese Navy led by Vice Admiral Jizaburo Ozawa and the Third Fleet of the U.S. Navy led by Admiral William Halsey. In this battle, the aircraft carriers Zuikaku, Zui, Chitose, and Chiyoda, as well as the three light cruisers and 9 destroyers, were repeatedly shelled and sunk in this fight of the Japanese. The Imperial Japanese Navy was weakened, and in the mid-1940s, it surrendered to the Americans. The Americans came out on top in this conflict, and the Philippines are finally free of Japanese control. The lighthouse keepers nowadays have an easier job, just visiting towers once in a while to replace broken lamps and do minor maintenance. However, with money limited, the cost of repairing the damage caused by more than a century is too great. Built almost a century ago, the Spanish colonial lighthouses continue to serve their master admirably. These monuments, shorn of their grandeur but yet proud in their lonely windswept setting, guide ships to their ports of call. Despite the passage of time and the elements, the beauty that the Spanish engineers constructed on our land cannot be obliterated. How to get there? Cape Engano Lighthouse is accessible through the port of San Vicente in Santa Ana, Cagayan. From Manila, one can take a bus bound for Santa Ana. Tourists can also take a flight going to Tuguegarao. Upon arriving to Santa Ana, take a tricycle cab going to San Vicente Port. From there, you can rent a boat that will take you to Palawi Island. Upon reaching the island, it is just a short trek going to the lighthouse.